Yes, fight fans, this is Body and Mind Sports. Welcome. You are fully appreciated if you are here for another session of boxing talk. And in this round, I will be covering the altercation between Terence Bud Crawford and Teofimo Lopez at the Canelo versus Edgar Berlanga fight. And this altercation, different versions of it, different footages has been circulating all around social media, where it actually shows Terence Bud Crawford attempt to push his finger into Teofimo's face. Teofimo naturally knocks it down, and a verbal altercation ensues. An altercation in which Crawford finally walks away from. But I can tell you exactly where all this is stemming from. As we know, Teofimo Lopez has been aggressively in the past for quite some lengthy time now, has been aggressively calling out Terence Bud Crawford in very disrespectful and distasteful manner, guys. He's gone on to say that Terence Bud Crawford is an absolutely overrated and rubbish fighter. And in all of boxing, mind you, he's the only one that thinks this. So that just goes to show you how deluded Teofimo is right now. That amount of desperation that he's exposing in order for him to get any form of fame, any form of exposure, any form of promotion. Is willing to do anything right now, guys. But early this year in 2024, Teofimo Lopez did call out Terence Bud Crawford again after controversially defeating Jermaine Ortiz to successfully defend his WBO world title at junior welterweight, a world title which he won from Josh Taylor, who is now former unified champion at the division and also now former undisputed champion at the division. So Teofimo Lopez early this year also called out Terence Bud Crawford after his controversial win over Jermaine Ortiz. And on that same fight card, as the co-main event, also featured Keyshawn Davis, who stopped Jose Petraza in his fight, and immediately after his fight called out Teofimo Lopez, who is a two-division champion, and he also called out Emmanuel Navarrete, who is a Mexican star and also a three-division champion. Mind you, take note, Keyshawn Davis, the co-main event in the undercard of Teofimo Lopez versus Jermaine Ortiz. But after the Jermaine Ortiz win, Teofimo Lopez then goes out to call out Terence Bud Crawford, and he says this. Teofimo Lopez says, "I am champion, I am king, glory is next for me. None of these guys wanna fight me. I'll fight Crawford at a catchweight." He says he'll fight Crawford at a catchweight, guys. Totally ignoring the fact that Keyshawn Davis called him out on the same card, guys. He skipped he skipped Keyshawn Davis's call out and went straight away for Terence Bud Crawford. And it seems to believe that none of these guys wants to fight him. But there you have Keyshawn Davis right there on the same card. Goes to show you the immense delusion that Teofimo Lopez is under, that he's so desperately, unashamedly doing anything and everything to gain some exposure and to get his name out there. And I'll give you Terence Bud Crawford's what he thought about Teofimo Lopez's call out, and this is what he had to. In fact, Terence Bud Crawford was not impressed at all, and he had this to say. Crawford said, "Talked all that and lost. Like I told him, focus on who you are fighting, not me. Back to the drawing board you go, chump." So that was what Crawford had to say. He was not at all impressed with Teofimo Lopez's performance, and in fact he thought that Teofimo lost that fight. And I think the same way too. A lot of people also took to that opinion also. So Teofimo Lopez, after such a how can I put it, after such a bad performance, where people are thinking that he lost, I don't think he's in the position at all to call out Terence Bud Crawford. And also lately, before the Saul Canelo Alvarez versus Edgar Berlanga fight, Teofimo had an interview with ES News where he claims that if him and Crawford fought, he would knock him out in the 9th round, which I know is crazy, guys, and he's blatantly lying on himself there. Again, the delusion that the man is under. And furthermore, just cap this off, this is a fight that nobody wants. Teofimo Lopez versus Terence Bud Crawford. Everybody can calculate with their faculties, with their logical faculties, with their sane faculties, that Teofimo Lopez just stands no chance with Terence Bud Crawford, who is pound for pound #1 in most people's list. Teofimo Lopez nowhere to be found on a pound for pound list, despite his accolades, despite what he's achieved so far in boxing. You can't compare him to Terence Bud Crawford, not in any manner, and I don't mean that disrespectfully either, because I really don't have a problem with him calling out Terence Bud Crawford. It's just the way he does it, and he's even gone as far as to be racist, because I've seen a clip of him recently where an interviewer is asking him who he would want to fight first, Gervonta Tank Davis or Terence Bud Crawford. Of course, Tank Davis, the other fighter that he has called out. And Teofimo Lopez goes on to say, "I don't mind any of those monkeys. I'll fight first." It said something to that effect, but definitely used the word monkeys to describe Terence Bud Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis. And in the same clip, I believe somebody may have let him know that you can't be saying that. And he goes on to say, well, they refer to them as gorillas and whatnot, but even if they did, those what Teofimo said there was totally out of line and not appropriate and blatantly racist. And we don't need that in the sport of boxing, guys. Boxing already has, is already under a bad light. We want to do things that will elevate boxing and take it, to the next step of being a very well established and thriving sport, where the majority, if not all, of the competitors are getting the financial benefit that they need to get from it, without, of course, the fans losing out on big fights. So, another thing I want to say though is, I have no problem with Teofimo being at 2 divisions lower than Terence Bud Crawford and calling out Terence Bud Crawford to fight. After all, Crawford is doing the same thing with Sal Canelo Alvarez. However, this is not a fight people are calling for, and on top of that, it's also a fight that would be of no benefit to Terence Bud Crawford at all. He will get no credit for beating someone like Teofimo Lopez, who everybody admittedly is thinking that is undoable by Teofimo Lopez. He just cannot climb that mountain called Terence Bud Crawford. And this is not just a weight issue. In fact, it's not a weight issue at all, but a skills issue. The disparities, the distance between them in skills is just too large, and you can see it because Teofimo Lopez arguably lost to Sando Martin, arguably lost to Jermaine Ortiz, and he lost to Cambosis. He beat Josh Taylor, he beat Lomachenko, but he's been exposed as well after those fights. It clearly shows he's just not on the level of a Crawford. And with that said, I think I'll just leave it there, and that's it from me on this session of Boxing Talk. You can catch me some more on Body and Mind Sports, but before you leave, do like, do share, subscribe, and of course drop your comments below. And as always, stay very, very blessed, guys.